Okay, so Brieg and I were off in the forest looking for ships. Sort of, Brieg was looking for ships, and I was helping look for ships. And then I wandered off, and when I came back, Brieg was lost. So I went to found him, and he was talking to this weird-looking elf dude who was all tied up. And then he untied him with magics, and turned out he was really, really tall and didn't speak real language. And then he kissed me, which I still feel a little funny in my parts about, and said something that I don't know what it was, because he doesn't speak real language, and then he walked into a tree.
Real language?
Yeah, that's Din's perspective.
We also
In town
to breathe water, which was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Breathe this water.
I forgot about that part, because the really tall elf kissed me.
In town, Harvick and Gargintius and Tabrin have basically just been doing their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Brewing and helping brew and spying.
And accidentally
and
being super good friends with Arta. I have it in my notes.
Arta.
I got 3 of the letters right for sure.
Like watching.
It's like super
Arta.
heavily accented Arthur.
Yeah. It is exactly like super heavily accented Arta. But we need to go back to Din and Brieg. So that all just happened. And he just walked into a tree.
So I'm going to react to that, but first, I need to make sure that we get to keep this barge because I think we might want it. So I'm going to, using my current control water spell, my idea is to like slowly fill back up the trench that I caused and then redirect the flow to take the barge out of the river and then just like set it down beside the river and we can figure out what to do with it next time, like later when we have more time to think about it.
Okay. So while Brieg is doing that, Din, what are you doing?
Brieg, did you see? Brieg, what are you doing?
Just a moment.
He walked in.
Just a moment. This takes a lot of concentration. Din, just give me a moment and then we can talk about it. Also, your feet might get wet here for a minute.
What?
And then the river just diverts course and like flows kind of towards us for a minute, bringing the boat, and sets the boat in like, on the bank of the river, and then I let it go, and the water flows back down to its normal course.
Breathe.
That is hard. Yes, he walked into the tree. I have no idea what that was about.
He walked into the tree, and then you
Brieg.
rerouted an entire river. You're not supposed to. Oh, so many
Brieg,
Just for a moment.
When you turn around and you see Din standing there with her hands on her head, looking very confused, you notice she's wearing a new piece of jewelry. It's a green armband with emeralds studded on it.
What?
He gave you his look at your arm. Look down at your arm.
But he didn't. Cause on the there wasn't. I don't know how any of that happened.
Neither do I, and I have been working very hard to become exceedingly observant over the last 6 months or so. I think I've done a very good job. I still have no idea how that happened. Did you? Oh, you weren't here to see what he did with it.
With what?
With that armband. He was wearing it, and so you know how my ring, I just diverted the flow of a river with my ring.
Yeah.
He was
Don't do that.
He was doing things with like earth, like the dirt. He made a big pillar of stone come up out of the river, and he made a pathway out of like. I think that you may be able to move earth with that.
I don't
manipulate it in a
think
similar
I
way that I
want
can manipulate water.
I don't think I want to do that. What if I hurt somebody, or what if I make a mess? Probably I will make a mess.
Well, yeah, probably. But think about how useful that could be. I mean, there's so much that we could do with it.
Well, what if I smash somebody?
Your powers combined, you can do the poop bomb without me. Operation Royal Flush is a go.
Can poop bomb. Operation Royal Flush just became so possible. You have
Maybe
access to
you should take it.
That I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, it's clear that whoever that person was, he was. I mean, didn't you get a sense of just like wisdom and power and age?
He just talked gibberish and then kissed me.
Right.
That
But just by
doesn't seem
glancing
wise.
at you,
That
he could
seems
tell
crazy.
that you were. Just by glancing at you, he could tell that you were a child of the forest. That you have an innate connection to nature.
Have you seen my hair? Of course I'm a child of the forest.
Let's try this from a different angle. You have access to some nature magic, correct? I've seen you create those good berries. I've seen you do a few other things.
She can talk to grass.
The armband is just a way. Right, you can talk to plants. The armband is just a way of expanding on that.
Plants are very smart. They're easy to talk to.
Not like trying to talk to Tabarin.
So the armband from whoever that was is clearly an extension of that, and
We don't even know who he was.
I am quite certain that
I
he
feel
was a
like you
good guy.
shouldn't take things from strangers unless they don't know that you're taking the thing from them because you need it more than they do. Or something. And I'm not sure that was right. But you know what I mean.
Look, you don't need to worry about it now. Let's just keep it, and we'll see how it goes. I am going to be late for my meeting with Tabarin. I think
have a
that
meeting?
if you'd like, you can come with me.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've already seen
Are we done watching the
ship
boats?
come by. We may be.
We kept the ship. I think
Yes.
we broke the part where the ship comes by and we pay attention to how that goes because you just stole the ship.
Alright, so the ship comes by on Wednesday, and it beaches itself over here, and everyone escapes from it.
Plan A broken.
The guards end up inside the bottom of the river, probably.
Yeah, they're not well.
We should go talk to Tabarin.
Yes, I think we should go
I
talk
think
to
we
Tabarin.
broke all the things.
Well, yes, it was a much more eventful afternoon than the past several have been.
Okay. So you guys are going to head down to meet up with Tabarin?
Yes.
Are you just going to leave the boat where it is?
We can't carry it. There's only two of us and the dog. He's a wolf. Don't tell him I called him a dog.
Should we disguise it? Is that something that we could do? Put some branches over it and whatnot.
It's a... What?
Probably not.
No,
Why
let's
didn't you
just
just
go
leave
find
it at the bottom
Tabarin.
of the river? With
'Cause
water on top of it.
I think we.
And then you could go back
we
and
might
part the
wanna
water
use
and
it.
pick it back up.
Then everything would be wet.
Just
You hate
just
wet
leave it
things.
where it is.
It's a boat.
no one will look for a barge here in the middle of the forest, so I think we're safe.
Fair. Okay. So you guys are heading back to meet up with the guys in town. The guys in town. What's the plan,
Wait, before
Yeah.
we leave, I'm gonna quickly look through the contents of the stuff on the barge.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly just to sate my curiosity. Just like a kind of a quick glance in all the barrels and sacks and stuff, and then we can go.
Okay. There's some elven wine. There's some various food stuffs and things. There's a lockbox with some papers in it that are written in Elvish. Mostly are just governmental correspondence and letters and things. You'd have to spend a long time to read through all of them because there's quite a bit. One of the things you do notice is a schedule for the barges.
The lockbox.
Pardon? Yeah, well,
I appreciate you just assuming that I opened the lockbox.
Yeah,
that was nice.
It has to be a proper lock. It has to be a proper lock, not like a pretend I'm going to keep your papers safe lock. It has to be a proper, you're not getting out of this dungeon lock for you to actually have any trouble with it now. So I'm just sort of glossing over that fact. But so the papers, there's a chance that, there's something of interest in there. You may want to take those with you. There is one thing that you notice that is valuable from an information standpoint, and that's a schedule for the barges. You do find out that the next barge will be coming in 3 days, and that this barge was destined to arrive today.
Okay.
Oh no, they have a
That is
schedule.
useful. I will grab the papers and shove them in my bag so that I can examine them later in case something happens to the barge while we're gone.
If you move quickly, you'll be able to meet with Tabarin at around about the same time that the barge was supposed to arrive.
Okay.
So that should be fun. Back
not
in
bode
town
well.
with all of you people who have no idea of what just happened up the river. What are you guys doing with your day?
Tasting the cider, gotta check progress, and talking to Arda, and just, telling stories about when I was a young dwarf, and silly things I got up to the dwarves aren't supposed to get up to, and trying to figure out how he pays for his inn, and eats food, and is not starved to death.
Okay. Gargantius?
I'm watching kind of silent. I'm not participating in the conversations Harbeck and Arda are having, but I'm watching Harbeck be I've seen Harbeck pretty much sad for the past couple weeks, and this happy Harbeck is new, and I'm kind of watching him and Arda, and I'm what's going on?
Yep.
Is he under a spell? I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Tavern, what are you doing with your day leading up to?
I need to figure out how to get that window open. So I'm going to talk to Gargantius Harbeck if he's around and not busy, and kind of relay what my plan is. If we don't end up using the barges, we can teleport from our room here into his house if that window's open.
I imagine that both Gargantius and Harbeck will make time to have a chat with Tabarin regarding the plan for the reason they're here.
Have there been any elven children in this town? I imagine they have children. Have you seen any?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes,
children, do they play hit a ball with a stick? or like throw things to each other.
Just paint on
The
brick
children-
window.
The children are like mini adult elves. They have structured learning schedules, and they don't seem to be the playful, happy-go-lucky types, typically.
And if they do, it's during the 1 hour block set aside each day to act
Yes.
happy-go-lucky,
Hey, but-
and in the specific happy-go-lucky area of town.
When you get, I mean, unless the entire population of the entire Elven Kingdom, and we are quite a ways from the seat of power, is under some sort of spell, which, if they are, we've lost. That's ridiculously powerful. There's got to be, like, one troublemaker. There's
So,
a
Harvick,
kid
are you going to use your experience?
who
Are you going
doesn't.
to use your experience as a troublemaker to locate an elven troublemaker? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're going to do?
We just need some kids playing stickball near
Birds of a
that window.
feather.
That's it. Unless they can get
So I
the
would
glass
go-
made and repaired in a day, we just need to teach the elven troublemakers to play stickball, and we put an accidental shot through the window. That's it. Oh, it was an accident.
So
We're
would I
very
know
sorry.
the information?
Come have some cider. We'll replace your window, certainly, right after we teleport into your house and kill you.
Since I was watching the outside for the good amount of yesterday, have I seen any kids of that description?
Guys, I have an idea.
Okay. Let's hear your idea.
I think I can get him to open up the window before he leaves for the asylum in the morning. I can create a faint odor of a skunk, and if I can get that odor in through the window, any sort of gaps or under the front door, he's going to want to open up a door window to air his place out before he gets back at the end of the day. That means we have to plan on entering in the daytime and waiting in ambush for him to come home at the end of the night.
I just want to remind you that even if we do get the ambush on this guy, he's pretty strong. Based on what I've seen.
Do you think that he's likely to open the window for the scent of a skunk? I don't imagine he would think that the skunk was inside his house. I'd be
True.
more likely to seal my windows, personally.
I'm not there, so I can't make suggestions.
I think I'm meeting
That's
up
lots
with
of skunk information.
Brieg this evening. We'll see if they found anything out and see what options we have. The other options just go straight into the asylum, middle of the night.
I still
Okay.
haven't figured out how to make an explosive. I won't be collapsing
We'll
So,
get there.
Harvick,
cisterns.
Harvick, I do need to know. So you spent the day. Did you do any more spells, or was it purely spent on?
I am super curious about my new friend. I want him to be real, and I'm worried he's not. And so I think I probably spent today mostly focused on that, tending to the cider that is the cover story, and finding time for Plan C, which is super important that Plan C is ready in case A and B fail. So we'll focus on those things today.
Okay. Right. Well, in that case, the sort of day continues without much of a hitch. Tabrin, you get to go out and meet Brieg.
Yeah, going out looking for things again. beforehand, just so that I have those on hand and grabbing stuff again.
Alright, roll me a survival to see what you find. Oh wow.
I rolled 2 good dice.
That's an impressive plan C. Tavern, you don't really find anything interesting. You pick up some random odds and sods and pick a couple of fruits so that you have something in your backpack, but you don't find anything of note. Before you do meet up with Brieg, Harbeck, you can barely contain your excitement or the chemical reaction when you find 2 things that you've managed to acquire that, when heated rapidly, kaboom, makes a very loud noise, and your friend comes down, Art comes down from upstairs, says, "What was all that noise about?"
Well, when you're as big around as I am, you tend to bump into things. I'm very sorry, I'll get it cleaned up.
Okay, so I don't go, like, setting my inn on fire or anything.
No, I would never set an inn on fire. I mean, I'm very careful about that particular thing specifically.
That's only happened twice. It's fine.
That's only happened twice so far. Brieg, you and Tavern meet up. Harbeck, I'm going to get you to roll me 1 more Alchemist Tools with no disadvantage. Can you, in the afternoon, manage to make more of it, make it stable enough to use?
Maybe not.
Okay. Brieg, you and Din find Tavern. Tavern, you see Brieg and Din. Din's joined him this time. Which means nobody's watching the river, which means something's probably wrong.
What happened? Well, who's watching the river?
We don't have to watch the river. Brieg stole a boat.
We've had an interesting afternoon.
You took out a barge?
It was sort of impulsive and or accidental. But
Stupid?
yes.
Okay, I'm glad you're alive. What's going on?
That could be argued. So I saw a barge coming in. It was carrying not only supplies but a patient.
Everything.
And I knew that it was a bad idea, but I just couldn't watch it happen. So I surreptitiously helped the patient, who turned out to be much more interesting than I originally thought he would be.
He was very tall, and he kissed me, and he gave me this thing.
What?
All of those things are true.
No.
So
Din said some crazy things, but that might be the craziest thing she's ever said. That's true?
Then he walked into a tree.
there's sort of a lot to unwrap, and I think that Plan A is probably scrapped.
Okay.
But let me.
How fast can you guys run? Wait, you can cast invisibility, right?
Yes.
And how long does it last? Like, can we get you and me and Din into the inn? Get you into the town?
So if I have to concentrate on the spell, and it only affects one person at a time, but at last I can keep it going for an hour. So I suppose if you can also cast invisibility, right? Could you cast it on Din, and I can invisible myself, and then we could head back to the inn.
I can just hide. Why are we hiding?
We're going We're going into the town where it may be more difficult to hide getting through the gates.
I can only keep Din invisible for 3 minutes. We'd have to move
It's okay,
quickly.
I have this thing where I can disappear in plain sight thing.
Oh.
We'll get you as
You don't
close
need
to
You don't need things
the gate as possible before we do that.
It's this belt of hiding in plain sight.
Oh.
It's pretty in leather.
It is pretty on leather. Lots of different colours. So, what's the plan? You're going to get as close to the town as you can without being seen. And then
I will cast invisibility on Din up to 3 minutes worth and get into the inn to where we can all start figuring out our next move.
Okay. You know that the gate that you came through is going to be very lightly populated. That area is going to be very lightly populated at this time of day. You imagine that it would be possible. Like you said, you'd have to move quick. The other trick is going to be getting inside the inn while invisible. Are you going to stay visible? Is that the plan?
Yes, I will.
Okay, so you can open doors so that it's not like a ghost is opening the doors.
Right.
That will help.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Tabrin is going to run ahead, and Din and Bree are going to follow while invisible, and you're all going to go back to the inn. Am I right? That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
what's
let's
happening.
We're going to
figure out what
be
we're gonna do.
in stealth
Okay.
mode.
Okay. What are we looking at? Where's my ruler? Let's assume that's... If you want to get up into the room, you're looking at about 500 feet, 3 minutes. 503 feet is what? Yeah, that's easy. I'm not even going to make you roll
Okay.
anything. You can do that.
Sounds great.
I will get Din and Breeg to roll stealth checks. Din's already rolled hers. I'll get Breeg to roll one as well for the approach to the edge of the forest, because I imagine they're going to be sneaky on the way there. Fortunately, Breeg can't be bad at sneaking, so...
Yeah.
Good work.
And I'm going to assume that Ian is just going to stay in the forest. Because he can't really go running into the town following his invisible master. That's not how it works. But that's okay, because Ian is clever and is very capable of looking after himself. Okay, so after a short run, you manage to make it back to the inn. Harbeck and Gagintius, you're probably having second lunch or dinner, or you're eating something, because that's
Because
what
why would you
Harbeck and
stop?
Gagintius do. Yeah. And you notice Tabrin come rushing through the door. Tabrin, you see them sort of having a meal in the common room as you run inside.
Not really saying anything, just keeping the door open for a few seconds, longer than normal. And then I'm gonna rush up to the room. Or down to the room, wherever.
Upstairs
Up
rooms,
to
yeah.
the room.
Tabrin seems to be in quite the hurry. Which is odd.
Over a mouthful of whatever we're mouthfuling. That lad does not understand the benefits of slowing down to enjoy yourself. It's always in a hurry.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check on him. You can keep eating.
That seems...
I'll push my plate forward and go upstairs.
That's probably wise. I'll be right there. Harbeck has
no, that's cool.
crumbs
You can
in his
enjoy your-
beard and waddles up the stairs with like the last few bites coming off his plate, and he spins it onto the counter as he hits the bottom of the stairs. Not leaving any food unfed.
That's ridiculous. can't not eat food that's in front of you. That's silly. Gigantius, when you get up the hallway and you have Harbeck dash up after you, he's pretty quick. Even while holding a plate and eating food. And you guys open the door to the bedroom that is the largest where Tabern is, because Tabern obviously picked the largest bedroom because Tabern.
Yeah.
And inside you see Tabern, Din, and Brig.
When did you guys get here?
Just now.
Close the door. Get in here.
Right, so, I take
Plan
it,
A's out the window.
that we are accelerating the time scale then.
The window. You got it open?
Well, it's been an interesting day. Why don't I
Bree
go ahead
stole a boat,
start?
and then a really tall elf kissed me and gave me this bracelet, and then walked into a tree.
What?
Wait, Brig stole a boat.
Oh, slow down.
So first of
Briggs
all,
stole a boat. Din kissed an elf. Or an
No,
elf kissed
the
Din.
elf-
It's me.
Gave her a bracelet, which looks pretty cool, and walked into a tree. That is one crazy elf.
so
How did the
starting a
elf
bit.
That's probably why he was on the boat.
How did he get off the
Starting a
boat?
little bit earlier in the story, you know the ring that can control the water. I've
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah, you
I've sort of
said
figured out
you said
how
you had
to-
a breakthrough.
Right, I've sort of figured out how to actually use it, and that is important
Awesome.
to how the rest of this. It's important to how the rest of this story played out. So, I was sitting there waiting for a barge to come by, and a barge came by, and on the barge was not only supplies for the asylum, but also a prisoner for the asylum, and I know that it was foolish, but I decided that I couldn't just let it go. So I surreptitiously loosened his bonds, the prisoner's bonds, and he proved to be a much more capable and interesting person than I had anticipated. He summoned a pillar of stone from the bed of the river and enveloped both of the armed elven guards that were watching him in said stone, and they are now presumably buried somewhere beneath the bed of the river. Then he
did that with this thing?
Yeah, and then he
I don't want
summoned
this thing.
forth a walkway in the river to walk over to where I was hiding, observing this. Harbeck, you have a question?
Right, yes, this seems like a perfect moment. I don't think Plan A is off the table at all. They obviously were transporting a highly dangerous prisoner. Something went wrong. He escaped by himself, as prisoners sometimes do, Brig. And we have an opportunity now to see how the elves respond to a disruption in their schedule. We get to see them in panic mode, or whatever you call it, because they probably, if you said panic to them, they would probably laugh at you and say that we
what
don't
if they
panic,
go and
hoity hoity
look?
hoy.
And they're sending their military out to go look for this prisoner that escaped. We need to be paying attention to what's going on at the gates right now.
Right, so
Right,
we can
and I-
So I'm going
observe
to take a look
So
out the
I
window.
have
their crisis
schedule here.
response. And then we can cause another crisis and take advantage of their crisis response.
Or we can take advantage of this crisis. So let me tell you a few of the other things that I've learned. One, I have a schedule for when all of the barges are supposed to be here. According to this, the barge that I delayed was supposed to have been here sometime in the next, or in the last hour or so, I think, if I'm reading that right, which means but they're now, as they get later and later, I'm sure that we'll want to keep an eye out for that crisis response. The other thing is that one of the things that I've learned how to do with this ring is make it so my friends and I can breathe underwater.
What? I mean, that sounds completely scary, and I volunteer not to do that.
Well, I'm thinking. So this is the thought I had, is that we watch for them to send whoever they're going to send out to look for the barge. They're going to find the barge because I sort of deposited it carefully on the side of the river because I thought we might want it.
He stole it.
I have an idea, but we're gonna need the boat. And Harvick, how is the bomb stuff coming along?
I have not burnt down the inn.
Okay. What I think
They're
would
not
be
well then.
a good distraction is we load the barge full of explodey stuff and set it on fire when it gets down to the destination.
No.
The port.
Look, I'm gonna take control here for a second. Brig, finish your plan. You had a thought. Breathing water.
Well, my thought's fairly simple. We wait for as many people as are going to leave the asylum to go and investigate to leave the asylum. We make it so we can breathe underwater. We walk under the lake to the dock, which I assume will be the least well guarded, because why would you guard the dock? Because people can't get there. It's real obvious when people try to approach the dock because they have to do it over the water. We do it under the water, and then we climb up and open that door and go into the asylum while they're mostly distracted.
How do we get out of the asylum?
You remember the special mixture we made for Brig / Silver Star?
Yes.
I think Gargintius may need some, and I think this is a great plan. I think we wait for as many people as are going to leave. We're all going to breathe water, and we're all going to go across over to the dock. Gargintius, you're going to be fine. We've got a lovely little drink for you. You're going to be happy as can be. We're going to get you inside, and we're going to go in through the dock, and we're going to get Shadow's brother out.
So as far as getting out, I have two basic thoughts. One is if things go quickly and smoothly enough, we go back out exactly the way we came. I will hopefully be able to include Shadow's brother in the spell. We can just jump off the dock and walk downriver for the spell. I mean, the effect lasts for a very long time. We can just walk downriver for 8 hours and pop out far from town. Alternatively, I may be able to make an escape through the sewer again, much more pleasant, by forcing the flow to reverse and leaving it basically just an empty, albeit smelly, tunnel for us to crawl through instead of having to swim through feces. Those are the two options that I have in mind for getting back out.
I think we're set. I think we keep an eye on the city over the next few hours. We prepare ourselves. Harbeck, you made some breakthrough on the explosives.
I made the thing explode a little. I don't know that I can repeat it, and I definitely haven't had time to cook up any sort of supply with any sort of volume or power behind it.
Little as it may be, it may prove helpful if we come into a jam. But the only last question I have is Brig. We may or may not get a chance to come across Valcia at this time.
I think that this is it's such a good opportunity to take care of the more necessary parts of this plan that Valcia can wait. He's waited this long. I'll come back for him eventually, but
I have one other thought, which may be quicker and less painful for Gargintius, I can portal us onto the dock.
Ooh. Or maybe
from this
that's
room.
the plan B. Or like a
Maybe
two-pronged
from this room.
approach. Like a team B and team A. I call
Maybe
team
that's
B
how
the one.
That's how we could escape too.
Leave.
That's the thing. We can use it to an escape if we have to, or we can use it to enter.
Only one or the other.
But only one or
If
the
we're
other.
trying to not die, I think we swim in and portal out.
Right.
Okay.
I think that if we're caught on the approach, it's quite a bit easier to make up some excuse for why we're in the lake than it is to make up some excuse for why we're leaving the asylum with a prisoner. So saving it for the escape is
It'll give us a 500-foot head start too. So
right. I think I feel like preserving that for a additional contingency for our escape is
All right.
probably the wiser course.
I need to meditate for an hour,
Issues between.
get ourselves ready. If you guys want to prepare yourselves, I think we're probably looking at within the next 3-4 hours, things are going to happen.
Right, so the plan is basically to keep an eye out and make sure that we know when people have started, hopefully, leaving the asylum to go and look for their supplies. And I don't know how quickly that's going to happen.
And they may not.
I realize that the elves are extraordinarily regimented, but you can't really plan a trip down the river down to the minute. I suspect
Right,
it'll be a
and
couple
the
hours
asylum
before
may
we
not-
react, at least.
The asylum itself may not lighten up, but we could maybe count on the barracks and some of the military backup force leaving.
Being out of town. I agree. So, yes, let's
And if we're lucky,
Rest up,
Valcia himself will go
meditate.
looking.
and keep an eye out.
Okay.
Did you say we're escaping downriver?
That
Because if
was
so,
my
I'm gonna let Steed go. Tell him to go meet us downriver.
Can you have him lead Boozy?
Yeah, sure. I will tie them
Boozy's
together.
not smart enough to be like,
Yeah.
meet us downriver.
It is
He
worth
can handle it.
noting, in the grand scheme of things, as much as it would be a much harder slog, and it would also be heading towards where the elves currently are going to be heading if they do leave the town,
Yeah, I
your
guess going
next
upriver.
objective is northwest.
Yeah, I think
So we'd have to go south and then
I still think
around and back up northwest.
I still think we escaped downriver. There's
Yeah.
going to be too much
Yeah.
attention going on upriver.
Yeah.
We can walk for an extra day later. It's fine.
And Tabarin has other plans that may divert us from that task for a time. We'll see after we talk to, what's his
Tresson.
face? Tresson.
Okay, so that's the
Harbeck?
plan. All right. Finn?
Harbeck,
Yes.
can I talk to you for a minute?
Yes.
I got this thing, and I thought that I wanted a thing, but now I have the thing, and I don't want the thing.
What, the bracelet?
Yeah.
Why don't you want it?
Well, it's too much responsibility. What if I break a person?
Well, don't.
What if I actually stab a rock through somebody?
You do that every day.
Stab rocks through people?
Right. Do you see that bag of long sticks with rocks on the end in your backpack?
What? No, but those are the bad guys.
Right, yeah. So, only stab rocks through bad guys.
But I don't know how it works.
Oh, so the fear isn't so much... It's... How will I learn to use it?
Without stabbing rocks through people I don't want to be stabbed.
Well, I'm probably not the best person to help you learn how to use that. Brieg might be, Tabarin might be, I don't know which of them is the better teacher. I imagine Brieg is more patient. probably. But I also imagine Tabrin might be more knowledgeable. Breek seems to have unlocked quite a bit of power from his ring. At any rate, practice with it. It seems, when I've seen Breek and Tabrin use their rings, that they have quite precise control over the effect. It takes quite a bit of concentration and intent. I've never seen them do anything on accident.
Have you ever seen me concentrate?
Well,
yeah.
Din, do you want to hurt anyone?
Yeah. No.
I think that is concentration enough. You care, and you will pay attention. I don't think you're going to accidentally stab people with rocks. It seems to require much more intent and control than that. If anything, you'll never get it to work. I don't think you have to be worried about it working improperly.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys have some time now before the panic response from the elves, assuming there is one. So what do you want to do with that time?
I'm going to take an hour to get my spells back.
Okay.
Meditating.
Yeah, I'm mostly like really like hopped up and kind of my brain is running way too quickly. So I'm mostly just like trying to calm myself down and think about what is about to happen and make sure that I'm actually okay with it. And like it has been a really weird few hours, and I need to calm myself down
Process
and make sure that everything is okay. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to be staring out the window intently, looking for any obvious changes of behavior from the town.
Then what are you going to do with your spare time?
Sit somewhere and think about the poor choices I've made in life that got me to this position.
Why did I get on that boat? Why did I get on that boat a year ago? Gintius, what are you doing? Are you and Tabrin just having a conversation? So what are you doing post-conversation, like in the time before the lead-up? You're muted.
I think you might be muted.
Oh, I'm tying up Boozy to Steed and going forward with the meet us downriver plan.
Okay. Harvick.
Harbeck gets a piece of parchment and a quill and writes a letter.
Okay.
Dear Arta, I don't know why my written voice doesn't have an accent, but it doesn't. I've had to leave rather suddenly. I know that you may have a hard time finding me in the future, but I would love to know if the elves actually liked that cider when it's done. Take good care of it. Instructions, instructions, recipe, instructions, instructions. Yours truly, Harbeck. And we'll just hide that in the room or something, where he'll find it when he comes to clean the room when we never come back.
Okay. About 2 hours after you have the conversation and settle in on a plan, something happens. And I'm going to tell you what that thing is after we come back from a break, because I think that's an appropriate break spot, and we are close enough to the break to do it. So, we'll be back in about 3 minutes if you're watching on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, the next video will be up as soon as Llama actually uploads it. Yes, I didn't entend.
Part 3 usually comes up much closer to Part 2 than Part 1 does to the Part 3 of the previous. because I tend to do them in batches. So maybe this
So the next
cliffhanger
one
won't be
will be
super
up very
long.
soon.
Or maybe it will.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see you guys in about 3 minutes, or when you watch the next video and stuff. We're gonna be quiet now so we can cut for YouTube.